Good evening, kindred. I am Teranz, and welcome to Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. Sorry, of course, as soon as I start talking, I had a cough. Anyway, originally my plan was to do Crusader Kings 3 next, but I'm still kind of in the mood for Vampire. And as much as I like Crusader Kings, I'm also really bad at the game, so I feel, well, I tried doing one series and like 3 episodes in it started going to complete crap, and then I started a second series which is going okay so far, but who knows how long that'll last. So yeah, I decided to well, I saw Shadows in New York was out, and so I decided, hey, I'll play Coteries and I'll go play Shadows. So with that being said, I'm either going to choose the Brujah here or the Toreador. I haven't fully decided yet. I'll go with the Brujah. Choose your name. I'll go with that. This is a more of a visual novel type game, so New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate when I was a human, I would have just told you it's just superstitious bullshit. That we're all designers of our own destiny. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing right now, by the way. Fate, you decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot. Shit, I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred, just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggart and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was about fate, a message saying you're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me, just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I've learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you straight here from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it's so rare for you to visit New York, 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you still have a meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong, but it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York. I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. The music pounding, and your pulse is keeping pace. This is one of those nights that make you feel alive, even though it started with you feeling dead. First came the messy breakup. Then the realization you have no one to talk to about how much it sucks. Still, you decide to roll with the punches. One Facebook search for local events later, and you've found just the thing for your malaise. A short subway ride and you find yourself at the club just outside Dumble. Not a fancy one, mind you. More like a slightly refurbished warehouse. But hey, at least the drinks are cheap. The DJ really seems to know his shit too, alternating between cutting-edge industrial techno and classic Detroit crowd pleasers, expertly feeling out everyone's mood. An hour passes, then 2. Usually you'd feel awkward coming into a place like this alone, but tonight you find something soothing in joining the crowd, blending in, even as you allow the beat to take over. Sweat, yours and other people's, soaks through your shirt and pants in a matter of minutes. A thought pops inside your head. From the outside, the fully packed club must seem like a stuffy, smelly nightmare, but in here, the thick of it, it becomes exhilarating. And you're not even on a pill tonight. There's this Latina chick whose curves are accentuated by the light dress clinging to her body, and she keeps bumping into you. Something tells you it only seems incidental. Yeah, it's a good night. You wish it could last forever because you know all too well what the next day holds. Waking up, getting dressed for work, the commute to the 9 to 5 that will make you just enough money to pay the rent and keep living in your overpriced shithole of an apartment. And with Jessica moving out, it'll all be coming out of your pocket. You run some quick calculations in your head and immediately come to regret that you did. Never mind, spot the Latina again. She is now next to another guy hitting it off. Your chance of not going to bed alone just gone like that. Fuck. Your mood temporarily shot down. You leave the dance floor and stumble your way to the filthy bathroom. Take a look in the mirror and start to wash your face, obsessively. Over and over again. A voice from the past echoes in your mind. I've never felt like this with anyone. Seriously, I mean it. I feel like all of my relationships up to this point were test runs, a shitty way to compensate for my low self-esteem. But this feels right. Finally. Shut up, Jessica. This was the craziest fucking day of my life. God, I need a smoke. Pass me a light. What do you mean the cops took your lighter? There's one in your mouth. Just shut the hell up. This is not you. Not anymore. Oh, fuck off. This is so like you, acting like some sort of Clint Eastwood wannabe when I really, really need you to open up. You think you're impressing people with this tough guy act? Fuck you. I know how broken you really are. You need therapy. Yeah, now that sounds like the Jessica of today. You raise your head and look into the mirror. Try to smile, but all you can muster is self-pitying grin. There she is, the Latina from before. She says you look like you need a drink. You hesitate for a second or two, and then blurt out a surprisingly enthusiastic, yeah. Start to talk. It quickly becomes evident that she's into politics, and you are eager to please. You might be a corporate drone, but you spend a lot of evenings reading theory. Actually, theory, not bastardized Twitter cliff notes, and organizing for all manners of causes online. The status quo sucks. There must be something better. She agrees. Oh, excuse me, sorry. You seem to subscribe to the same progressive political theories. You have compatible ideas about the DSA's missteps, even watch the same YouTube channels. Your goals are aligned. She's a bit more radical than you'd have guessed. You attended a few rallies, been to a few protests, but this girl sounds like she's broken her fair share of faces and kicked more than a couple of cops in the nuts over the course of her activist career. Her zeal is infectious. She taps into the pent-up anger that you didn't know you had. The noisy club stops working for both of you, so you hit the streets. Just as you're leaving, the DJ starts playing All the Things She Said by Tattoo. Of course, you chuckle to yourself, trying not to slip into a bad headspace. She chuckles along with you. It's chilly outside, but soon enough you find yourself too invested in listening to the girl's voice to care about anything else. You realize you've been holding hands for a while. The subway car is empty, save for a stoic middle-aged couple and a drunk staring intently at his own feet. Plenty of room for you to stretch out, and yet she sits right next to you. You can feel her thigh pressing into yours, her breath on the side of your neck. Maybe it's the booze talking, but you distinctly hear your voice asking if she'd like to crash at your place. I've got a better idea, she says. At this point, you're down for anything as long as it lets you spend just a few more minutes with her. She takes you to a sleazy motel in the Bronx, trading a few words with the balding, tired-looking guy at the front desk. He hands her a key. Still holding your hand, the woman leads you up the stairs. The room you end up in is almost comically stereotypical, complete with flacking paint and a sticky floor. Not that it matters, though. The moment you step through the door, she's on you. You try to take the lead, but she's having none of it. Before you know it, you feel the rickety bed pressing against your back. It's sloppy, fun, fierce, and not once does she lose the initiative. Your hands reach under her t-shirt. Strange, it didn't look like she was cold outside, but now her skin feels eerily cool. As if sensing your confusion, she slaps your hands off her. She kisses your neck. You are overwhelmed by the sensation. Darkness. The taste of liquid, fire, and smoke on your tongue. Her voice saying, Sorry, kid. I did what I had to do to leave this city in one piece. But don't worry, with my blood and your principles, you're going to do just fine. She slams the motel door behind her as she leaves. You lie helpless on the soiled, pungent mattress for some time. Minutes? Hours? Before you can focus enough to try and piece together your evening, it hits you. The big hunger. Grips you by the throat and makes your inside shrivel in terror. It's an all-encompassing emptiness that throws you on all fours. You crawl for a while, squirm on the floor in sundering pain, then jump to your feet and bust out the door. You black out. This isn't the room you saw when you last closed your eyes. Somebody curses at you, a small, naked buff dude holding a short leather whip. Wow, what a goofy motherfucker. He throws a punch. He yells out several slurs. He hits you in the jaw. You black out again. The guy isn't moving anymore. There's blood on his neck. There's blood on his arms. There's blood on the floor. There's blood everywhere. Wow, whoever did this is one sick puppy. You realize you're sitting on top of his corpse. You hear a whimper. Someone else is there. A woman. Her arms are tied to the bed frame, an eye mask over her face, red marks on her back. This time you see it happen. You want to stop, but you can't. She almost manages to get a scream out, but it dies in her throat as you bite into the side of her neck. You drink. Blood. You're drinking blood. You could swear you feel her life force escaping her body, entering yours. Suddenly terrified, you tear away from her. She's not moving, but she's breathing. There's barely a mark on her neck. The guy on the floor, though, double over in a spasm, realizing what you did. You feel like throwing up, but you can only gag. Panic sets in as another realization dawns on you. Your heart is not beating. You put 2 fingers to your wrist, but feel no pulse. Same thing on the neck. Nothing. There's no breath coming out of your mouth. You have to get out. You have to get out. Get someone to call an ambulance. For yourself, at least. Probably too late for the dude on the floor. Did you really kill him? Tisk, tisk, tisk. What a mess. Okay. You look up. The door to the room is ajar. A tall, handsome, broad-shouldered man fills the entire frame. He brushes an imaginary speck of dirt off his perfectly tailored suit. Now let's see. Do I want call 911 out of the way, or this is not what it looks like? Hey, I just saw someone walking in the background. Anyway. This is not what it looks like. Hey man, this isn't what it looks like. That's good to hear, because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're in a world of trouble. He surveys the room, not moving an inch from where he's standing. He shakes his head in mock concern. Murder, assault, that's 25 to life if you're lucky, and since you're not, it's a death sentence. He takes a glance at his expensive-looking watch. Lucky for you, it's been a slow night. Otherwise, I might not have gotten here in time. Come on, the sun comes up in a few hours. You don't want to be around when it does. What's the matter when the sun comes up? Ah, so you don't even know. You should be glad I got here before you made yourself scarce. The man approaches you and starts talking. His tone remains unnaturally calm. Oddly enough, you find it both soothing and slightly unnerving. Now listen to me. I know this is all new to you, but I've dealt with hundreds of strays like you, and going by experience, they tend to fall into 2 categories. First, there are the smart ones who carefully obey my every word and don't try to pull off anything stupid. I always get them where they need to be, safe and sound. And then there are the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on. The wise guys who try to contact someone secretly and without permission. The troublemakers who try to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, most of them never reached their destination at all. His voice becomes slightly bored and monotone. You can tell he's given this speech before, likely dozens of times. So you see, while I generally consider myself pretty smart, I'm also a Mets fan. It's my one true weakness. One that inspired me to come up with 3-strike system when dealing with pups like you. Get on my nerves once or twice, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful situations. But cross me 3 times and you're out. No excuse, no forgiveness, no mercy. As he's talking, he slowly approaches you, adding a bit of theatrical swagger to his walk. Eventually he leans in, deliberately invading your personal space. You realize it's a test. He's daring you to do something about it. 3 strikes and you're up. Say, I understand, sir, now. You've never been too eager to bend the knee to anyone, but this is something else. The man's very presence instills a primal fear in your heart. What do I want to do here? All due respect, sir, go fuck yourself. Strike 1, and watch the language, whelp. Moving on. Is there anyone you'd want to inform of your current situation? Tell them you're alright? He flashes his fangs briefly, and for some reason, the sight sends a chill down your spine. There's something very wrong about him. Someone closest to you? Jessica. My ex-girlfriend. She kind of hates me, my guts, but yeah, I suppose it would be her. The stranger gives you a puzzled look and decides to prod further. The closest person in your life hates your guts. This time, something resembling a look of pity. He turns his eyes to the corpse on the floor. It rains, it pours, I suppose. Well, if you'd like to ruin her day and let her know you're alright, give me her phone number. I'll have someone take care of it. Discreetly, of course. You hand him your smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Thank you. This will be useful in illustrating my next point. Instead of giving back your phone, the man hides it in his pocket. From this point on, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up under, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anyone know you're still alive. You are forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes looking for you, it's over for both you and them. He interrupts his monotone recitation and stares deeply into your eyes. So unless you want your girlfriend to end up at the bottom of the Hudson, I suggest you cooperate. He proudly displays his fangs again. Put Jess in danger. God damn it. I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. His words are meant to imply otherwise, but by now it's obvious. He hates your guts as much as you hate his. He's itching for a fight, and you're almost willing to oblige. Alright, I think that's enough lecturing for today. We're on a bit of a schedule here. Now, I don't need to hurt you, but I can do so in the blink of an eye. Just so we're clear, I have the authority to end you right here, right now. This is not an idle threat. So are you going to play along, or do we have to do it the hard way? Let's do it the hard way. You throw a punch, hoping to stagger him and run out of the room. You can see it coming a mile away. His hands shoot up and grabs you by the wrist. Damn, he's strong. You really shouldn't have done that. It was worth a shot, asshole. A dog as stupid as you deserves to be put down. You feel the bones in your wrist crack under the man's iron grip. You yelp in pain, feeling your arm snap like it was being crushed in a vice. He's not human, he's not human, he's not human, he's not human. You know what? I don't care anymore. Count that as strike 3. For a split second, it all becomes a blur. Suddenly, you feel sharp pain in your chest. You realize you can't move a muscle. The man throws you over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes and carries you out of the room. You can only see snippets zoning in and out. No one stops the man as he carries your helpless body out of the building and throws you in the back of a black car. You drift out of consciousness. Everything goes dark again. An endless void of nothingness. An endless void of nothingness. An endless void of nothingness. Suddenly, a wet, squelch-like sound rings out in your ears. Then, your chest explodes with an excruciating ache. Disembodied, you find yourself being slowly entrapped by horrifying dead flesh. Then, resurrection. You suck air through your teeth as you wake, hoping this was all a nightmare. The gasp doesn't bring you any comfort, and you quickly realize it's nothing more than residual instinct. You don't actually breathe in, nor out, and your heart is still as it was before. Sight comes back to you as you focus on the features of an unfamiliar room. No windows, just a simple bed, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling, a small humming fridge, and a rattling AC fan in the wall. You notice claw marks on the inner side of the entrance door. Rise and shine, fledgling. You've got places to be. You're startled by the sound of the stranger's voice. There he is, standing in the doorway expectantly. His suit is immaculate as yesterday. His presence strikes you as even more malevolent than before. You remember the last thing you felt while looking at his face, the bones in your hand being crushed to an oozing pulp. You look at your fingers, but they're almost fully mended with just a bit of bruising. Was your mind playing tricks on you? What happened? What did you do to me? He recites his answer monotonously. I fulfilled my sacred duty as judge, jury, and executioner. You went against my rules, and I meted out punishment. The man glances at his watch, then turns his eyes to you again. You're expected. Get in the car. You have more questions? Where I'm taking you, you'll get the answers. Probably more than you're ready to handle. I'm dead, right? Can you at least acknowledge I'm dead? Alright. It's a philosophical conundrum that I don't feel competent to solve. Medically speaking, you are deceased, and yet you're standing here, talking, thinking, stalling. Enough is enough. Are you getting inside the car, or are you really, really willing to risk a forced strike in this match? This better not be some bullshit. Quit your yapping and get in the car. As you sit down in the back, the door is locking behind you. You notice that your clothing is ripped around your sternum. Touch your chest. You realize there's a gaping hole there. You can feel your broken ribs and the flesh around them. How am I alive? How am I still functioning? Oh, you finally noticed. Don't worry about it. It'll mend, given the chance. A few minutes later, the sight of your open ribcage becomes just another part of a spectacle you feel almost wholly dissociated from. No breath, no heartbeat, and now a gaping wound with no blood coming out of it. It all makes sense in some perverse way. In a fugue-like state, you start touching it like it was somebody else's body. You drive in silence for a while. You keep trying to catch glimpses of familiar streets or landmarks through the blackened windows, but it's of little use. The car is also soundproof, so all you can hear is a bit of humming traffic and the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. You check the door handle. Yeah, the door is locked, alright. The piece of dark glass separating you and the front of the car looks sturdy too. There's nothing left to do but wait. You didn't have time to think about it before, but now you realize You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realize now that you're hungry? No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. After a while, the need transforms into an overwhelming wave of anger. Clench your fists and jaws. You kick the wall that divides you and the driver. You feel like screaming. Start yelling. Arg! Arg! Settle down, whelp. Keep your impotent rage in check, or else I'll do it for you. Impotent? Just watch, you bastard. Try keeping it. Your fist hurts. Your head hurts. Your bowels are burning with a dull flame, and yet you don't break. A minute goes by and the rage passes. The car continues on its way with no further comment from the driver. You feel exhausted. The anger that you erupted with is now just a smoldering fire, but your hunger remains. It takes you another 20 or so minutes to get to your destination. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that much is certain. Queens, maybe. Alright. Well, this has probably been long enough. I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'm guessing that at this point, this is most of what the series is going to be like. I might try to add additional commentary when there's like breaks for me to choose options, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button down below and subscribe to stay tuned for more episodes of Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York.